Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&Chew Guy, and this is not a review of Dip or Chew. This is the second installment of the Hand Back the Pack series, where I go over tobacco alternatives that one could use to stop smoking manufactured cigarettes. And in this episode, we will be taking a look at Dry Snuff, or nasal snuff as it's usually called in the United States. So you have an unending amount of, if I could do this stuff without issue, this would be a unending amount of review material, because there are numerous companies with numerous products, which I will be running over a few of them. I usually personally do not do American dry snuff because it is a little bit more granular than the British variant. I usually stick with British companies. I, for a very short period, was very into it. Unfortunately, I have a couple issues with it that are just, to me, issues. I have a pretty long history of allergies, sinus problems, and I also have a deviated septum from a break on my nose from decades ago. And when I got into it a lot, it caused me sinus issues, to say the least. That said, it is a very old, very traditional way of using tobacco. There are many American products that I have noticed over the last 3 or 4 years I've been seeing more and more of in local tobacco shops. This is because the big 3 smokeless companies in the United States all have product lines of this, and I'm going to run over them real quick. From Susure International, and I am working off notes here, so that's why I'm looking down. Susure International has Buttercup, Navy, Railroad Mills, Society, Square, Superior, Tops, and Honeybee. Most of these look like they're coming in the tubes that stand about 2.5 inches tall. Silver plastic top. Why, to me, that would be like a lifetime supply, but they usually retail at about a little bit under $10 in my neck of the woods. The American Snuff Company has Garrett, Honest, Tuberose, which I see everywhere, Peach, and Dental. Then U.S. Smokeless Tobacco Company has U.S. Smokeless Tobacco has a couple that I'm actually interested in because of their names. Burton, Carhartt, Davell Red Seal, spelled exactly the same way as their budget dip. Rooster, spelled exactly the same way as the dip they had that they discontinued in the 70s. Standard and Wayman's Best, as in Wayman's Reserve for dip. Well, this is Wayman's Best. Then you have Toke, Toque. Toke is, I'm not exactly sure, because they have 2 main product lines. One of them is sold almost exclusively in Britain, and the other one is exclusively in the United States, North America. So I'm not exactly sure. I believe it's an American company, but it threw me off when I saw a line that was basically only sold in Britain. They have Silver Dollar and Friedborg. You know what? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. They have Silver Dollar and Toke USA. That was the other thing that threw me off a little bit there. Personally, I favor Samuel Gadwith, all right, which also makes pipe tobaccos. All right. There is Wilson's of Sharrow that I have had. I don't have any on hand at the moment, but they have a extensive product line. It is a British company. And then there's McChrystal's, which stands out because it's also British, but it stands out because it was the original medicated, which is basically a menthol blast that will most likely make a beginner sneeze, but it also, even with someone that is used to it, will clear out your sinuses in a hurry. And that is the big drawback to this stuff. Yeah, you don't have to spit, but you do have to expel, and it comes in the form of having to blow your nose, and it's not for the faint of heart at times. The British products, Samuel, Wilson's of Sharrow, and McChrystal's, can all be found at MrSnuff.com. And I believe a lot of the American products can be found there too, if you weren't able to find them in your local store. I think it's very interesting that there's a Rooster and Red Seal dry snuff from U.S. Smokeless Tobacco Company. Anyway, MrSnuff.com. Tin-wise, they're cheap. They're usually 5 gram, 10 gram, or 25 gram. Like a 10 gram, which I'm not sure. This McChrystal's might be, I'm not sure. But this container, which would last somebody quite a while unless you're exclusively only doing nasal snuff, this probably retails at about $3. Unfortunately, Mr. Snuff is in Britain, I believe, so there are import charges and whatnot. Anyway, there are different containers. This is a lid. This is my larger one of raspberry. Okay, so I got to be careful with this stuff. As I said, the American products are sort of more gritty. The British products are very, very fine. So I got to be real careful not to lose it here. I don't know if that's... This is a 25 gram tin. It's a big tin, much more than I ever needed. I use this. This is Samuel Gadwith Raspberry. I use this to powder pipe bowls, which I will cover in another episode. So you have tins like this, and then you have, some companies put them in a square tin. Some companies put them in this. This is Golden Glow. I used to use Golden Glow on cigarettes I made. All right. Golden Glow has a slider on the side, which is a little tough right now, and you can actually tap out small bumps on your snuff box, which is this part of your hand right here, with that, which is convenient. Golden Glow is very strong. In fact, I just, to get myself in the mood, tried some right before this video, and I'm pretty sure I'm buzzing off it right now. If I'm like, because, yeah. The McChrystal's I am not going to touch right now because that could induce violent sneezing. As I said, I haven't really touched any of this stuff for a couple years now, so I just wanted to get some varying content going. I am going to use a little bit of this. Unfortunately, I have, well, you know what? I have medication on my hands for hand eczema, but it feels pretty dry now. Snuff historically was very popular in Scotland. My family originally hails from Scotland. The reason why it was so popular was before the advent of safety matches, it was an easy way to carry and use tobacco without having to create fire. Also, and maybe more importantly, we don't have the best weather in Scotland. So you would open a can like that, sort of like you see guys do the one hand open on a dip can. I can't do it with this can because the rim's starting to get corroded on me. But you wouldn't take any and put it on your hand. You take a pinch of it, a very small pinch. In fact, you're probably not even going to be able to see this. You then would warm it, okay? Which is basically just rubbing it very slightly between the fingers and then breathe in while moving it between your fingers like this. I don't know. Yeah. I'm real limited with this computer on some of this stuff, and I'm realizing this now because I can't move the camera around. All right? Now, it was done that way. Okay. This is pretty mild stuff, so I shouldn't have any problems. It was done that way because, one, wind, and two, rain, both of which we have a plethora of types in Scotland. I mean, I've been walking through Scotland on days where I wasn't quite sure which direction the rain was coming from. It might have been coming up. I'm not even sure. When you throw wind into the mix, this stuff is so fine, you get a gust in one of these, and it's gone. Now, this, as I said, I use to, let me get the lid back on here, powder my pipe bowl, which I will show in another episode. This I use to boost the nicotine and change flavors of loose cigarette tobacco. And this I have used medicinally on occasion, this is the McChrystals, to basically clear out my sinuses when I couldn't breathe, and it actually does work. So, and this is why, like, I can't. That's how I do snuff. Sometimes I couldn't find my snuff spoon, so I don't want to start. This is a elongated piece of just basically paperboard, cardboard, that basically fits the upper 2/3 of my pipe bowl. I scoop with it, insert in the pipe, holding the pipe sideways, and drop the stuff, and then I rotate the pipe bowl around. That's why you see me with a little piece of cardboard there. It was sort of cut to measure. Anyway, this has just been a very general overview of dry snuff because it is relevant to the whole dipping tobacco market and the theme here, because North American dipping tobacco and Swedish snus both originated off this product, off of dry nasal snuff. The Swedes changed this stuff and ended up with snus, and the Americans changed it and ended up with dip. So I'm going to list this as a part one. This will be an ongoing. I'm trying to keep my options open with this series because I'm not quite sure how it's going to play out. I thank you all for watching. This has been just a very general, simple overview of dry snuff or nasal snuff. I will be returning with a chew review in the next 24 hours, and that will be Stoker's Peach. Thank you all for watching, and I had a hello. Crap. Something Chaw McGraw. I'll catch you in the next video, man. Something Chaw McGraw. Thanks for subscribing. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&Chew Guy. This has been a general loose overview of Dry Snuff. Thank you for subscribing. Comments and likes are always greatly appreciated. Do take care of yourselves, and God bless.